we are going to talk about the Grammys because they are coming out in just a few weeks. Well, the nominations, not the ceremonies, not for a few more months. But we were very excited to do this podcast because this was the very first podcast we ever did last year, was the Grammy nominations that we both got completely wrong. And so we're going to do it again and get all of our predictions probably completely wrong. And in 2 weeks, we'll look like fools. So here we go again.
Here we go again.
So before we get into all the categories, because we're going to do, excuse me, guys. Before we get into all the categories, we're gonna do the general categories and then probably the pop categories and then a few others that we touch on. But what are just some artists that you think are like shoo-ins to get like a million nominations?
Olivia Rodrigo.
I have three.
And Nas.
I was gonna say I have 3.5 that like I think are shoo-ins, and it's Olivia Rodrigo, Lil Nas X, and who do you think the other one is?
Yeah, well, I feel like you're gonna say Taylor, but I don't know.
So Taylor's
is
actually
Evermore even eligible?
Mm-hmm. Evermore is eligible this year. It came out in December, so the eligibility period this year ran from September last year to October this year. Yeah. We actually got
Doja Cat.
Yeah, Doja Cat. Yeah.
Look, I had to just look at my list.
I think the three of them, and I don't even think that's a spoiler for any of our lists, because I think everyone will just be filled with Olivia Rodrigo, Doja Cat, and Lil Nas X. I don't see how the three of them miss in any of the main categories. But then again, everyone said that about The Weeknd last year, and we see what happened. So for all we know, Olivia Rodrigo can be just completely shut out. And although if we're going with the Grammys, it's going to be probably Lil Nas because he's black and gay. How dare he?
Yeah, but yeah.
But I don't know. So let's get into the big four. I think we should start with the big four. So let's start with a record of the year. Do you want to go ahead and do yours first?
Record of the year. Okay, so I had a really hard time making this list this year. Like, I wanted to take it seriously and not be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I had a hard time because aside from those three artists we just said, no one else, if you don't count Taylor, because I always try not to be biased with Taylor Swift because everyone knows how much I love her. If you're not counting Taylor, there hasn't been that much really strong music this year like there was last year. So I had a really hard time putting any of my lists together. Normally, I have a pretty good sense of what's going on.
Normally, he has this done way in advance.
Yeah, well, I mean, I keep like a tally all year, and I kind of always watch it and keep my predictions updated. And even this morning, I'm looking at it, and like there's like 3 in every category that I'm like, yeah, probably not, but here we are.
So, record of the year, Bad Habits, H.E.R.
Okay.
All right. Good for You. Also have Need to Know. Take My Breath by The Weeknd. It's a long shot, but just one I felt like adding on there. And Astronaut in the Ocean.
Okay. Interesting. I think all of those are definitely possibilities. Yeah, so I'll just tell you mine real quick, and then we can just talk about all of them that we talked about. So mine that I have are, gotta scroll up. Bad Habits by H.E.R. I put Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo instead of Good for You. Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. Kiss Me More by Doja Cat and SZA. Leave the Door Open by Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. Montero by Lil Nas X. Stay by The Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber. And Willow by Taylor Swift.
Okay, so I have a lot of those songs on my list, just in different places.
Okay. Yeah, so I really wanted to put The Weeknd on here, but with what happened last year, I just don't think it's going to happen. I would not be surprised if it took years for the Grammys to start recognizing The Weeknd again. That's just, they could surprise us and throw in Save Your Tears or Take Your Breath, or Take My Breath, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Personal opinion, Take My Breath is the better song.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it never clicked for me. I never liked it very much.
So, But I definitely feel like Bad Habits is probably gonna win.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Definitely be nominated. Definitely for sure on the nominees list.
that's funny. So like when I was like finalizing my list this morning, going through it, Bad Habits was the one that I would put on and take off and put on and take off. And I kept switching it out with a few other songs, only because I love Ed Sheeran like to death. He's like in my top 5 favorite artists of all time. And Bad Habits just was not an Ed Sheeran song to me. I like the song itself, but when I think of the other songs of his that I love so much, it doesn't even come close when it
It's
comes
an
to
Ed
that.
Sheeran song that he usually would give to somebody else to sing, which is
Yeah.
fine. But the world loves it.
Yeah.
Like,
And so
and it's
that's
had extreme
why,
success.
yeah, exactly. And that's why I think it's one of those that will most likely be nominated. So another one that I want to talk about is Olivia Rodrigo. Like she had so many hits this year, and like you and I both put different ones. Which one do you think is more likely between uh Driver's License or Good for You?
Okay, well, I feel like Good for You for record of the year, but Driver's License for song of the year. I feel
Okay.
like she's gonna sweep all of it. Best pop vocal album, all of it.
Yeah, I could definitely see her pulling a Billie Eilish this year from like how Billie like
For
won
sure.
everything a couple years ago.
That's exactly what I feel like is going to happen.
I love Olivia Rodrigo to death. Like I think all the music she put out this year is genius. Like I think she's incredible. I hate when the same artist wins everything. It's so like anticlimactic in a way. So I'm really hoping they give like one, like I think I said that last year too. Like I hope they kind of switch it up and give like all the artists their due. Like let Doja win something, let Olivia win something, let Lil Nas win something. But the other thing that I really want to talk about when it comes to record of the year, so the whole year, my front runner to win, like I thought no one could even come close to beating it, was Levitating.
Yeah.
By Dua Lipa and DaBaby. So the original version of Levitating actually is not eligible because it's on Future Nostalgia, which won Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album last year. But the remix isn't on the original edition with DaBaby. So I was like, yeah, that's gonna win. And then DaBaby had to go and be a homophobic asshole and get canceled. And now, like, there's absolutely no chance.
Yeah, there's no shot.
Because you know how much I love that song. And I don't even listen to it now. I just listen to the original, which is still amazing, but it
doesn't hit the same.
Exactly. The baby brings so much to it, and it breaks my heart. But if 2021 taught us anything, it's that a lot of our favorite artists we don't want to listen to them anymore. DaBaby, Morgan Wallen, now Travis Scott. Like, no matter your opinions on them, you can't listen to their music now without having this extra. Without thinking about the controversy. Same
for
thing
sure.
with Chris Brown for Forever.
Yeah.
Not that we've forgiven Chris Brown, but it's so long ago. But you know what I mean? Like you can't listen to them without that.
Yeah, definitely. I still don't listen to Chris Brown.
Yeah. I don't ever go out of my way to listen to Chris Brown. I will listen to the hits, but only if they come on the radio. And
I don't listen to the radio. I curate every bit of my listening.
Yeah. I like a Go Crazy, but if that's because I like Young Thug. So it's like it's a toss up for me a lot of time with Chris Brown. But anyway, so yeah, record of the year. My front runner to win, actually, like you said, Bad Habits. I really think it might go to Montero. If I had to choose one.
Yeah. For sure. I should have put that on my list.
It's so hard to make a list. Like the Grammys are so unpredictable. Like who would have thought Yummy by Justin Bieber would be a Grammy nominated song, and it was. So you never know. Yeah. But anyway.
So do we want to do song of the year?
Yeah, let's do song of the year.
You go first.
Okay. So obviously like song and record, my lists are very similar for both of them, but if you don't know, for people watching, the difference between record of the year and song of the year is song of the year goes to the songwriters, where record of the year goes to like the artists and the producers and everyone who worked on the song as a whole, except for the writers, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So my list is Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo, Good Days by SZA, Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, Justified by Casey Musgraves, Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic, Montero by Lil Nas X, Starting Over by Chris Stapleton, and Willow by Taylor Swift.
Nice. That's a solid lineup. Okay, so I have Heartbreak Anniversary.
I had that one for a long time.
Okay, by Giveon. I also have Your Power by Billie Eilish.
Yes.
We have Dancing with the Devil, Demi Lovato. Driver's License, Olivia Rodrigo. Leave the Door Open, Silk Sonic, and Shy Away, 21 Pilots.
Oh, 21 Pilots. Okay, I would love to see 21 Pilots in the general field again. So interesting. Shoot, it popped in my head and I forgot. There was something on your list that I was about to comment on. What was something that you had on your list that I didn't?
Heartbreak Anniversary, Dance with the Devil.
Dancing with the Devil. That's what it was. I really would love for Demi to get recognition for that, because obviously we did how many podcasts just about Demi this year, like the whole Dancing with the Devil, like the album and the singles and the music video and then the documentary. Like we talked about it all. I just am so worried. There's been a lot of behind the scenes drama with her record label. It's the same thing with Shawn Mendes too, that they just aren't really providing for their artists. So like that's why like Dance with the Devil and then Shawn Mendes' last album Wonder just kind of almost felt like they weren't very popular at all. It's because their record label just gives them zero budget. They're like one single, one music video, it has to take off on its own or we're not going to go for it. There's been a lot of behind the scenes drama. So, and that's Island Records.
Yeah. Well, but she also has Scooter Braun, and I know how you feel about him, but like, isn't that his job negotiating between?
Kind of. So the record label has like its own team that do like the rollout and stuff. But so he just manages them. He doesn't do any of that. So he like kind of, we both know what managers do, and now it's
I know,
but yeah, I don't know. But
I feel like he's a powerful enough person in the industry to be like, yo,
yeah, no,
promote her album or we're gonna find her a new label.
I agree. And Demi Lovato definitely deserves the recognition this year for Dancing with the Devil, the artist starting over. Because I own that album. I have it hanging on my wall right now. I have it right there. I can see it. It was a fantastic body of work. It told a full story. It was completely realized concept. But I just feel like for some reason people don't give it the respect it deserves, and it's just kind of flying under the radar. That's why I don't have it on my list.
Heard.
But if it was,
we both have Billie, but different picks. So.
Yeah, I don't know what song they would go for Billie, because she had like there's Therefore I Am, which was the big hit, but then there was Happier Than Ever, which was a lot more artistic. But then there was Your Power that had like this big message. So it's like, which one do you go with? So I just kind of picked my favorite of the three. I wasn't sure which one was the most likely. And then I do want to talk about Giveon just for a second. I had him on my list for a long time, but the Grammys, they sometimes try to like, they'll have a couple pop records, then they'll have like one from a lot of the other genres. So I had Good Days by SZA in there. So I took out Heartbreak Anniversary because I'm like, I don't know if they'd put 2 R&B songs, but then I put 2 country songs in there because I couldn't choose between the two. I don't know. But
we'll see.
What's your front runner to win Song of the Year right now if you had to choose?
Driver's License.
Driver's License, yeah. I would love, so I think Driver's License will win. Taylor Swift has never won Song of the Year, and she is the most successful, most popular songwriter. Like that's what she's known for, and she's never won it. So I really want Taylor to win. It's about time the best songwriter of our time wins Song of the Year. I don't know if she will because she never has before. Olivia probably will win it, but I'm holding out hope for Willow because Willow is one of her best songs, period. But anyway, shall we move on to do we want to do album or best new artist?
Either one.
Okay, let's do album.
Excuse me, guys.
You can go ahead and read yours first.
So I only have 4 picks, and I have Foo Fighters, Medicine, Midnight. We got Montero, Lil Nas X, Sour, Olivia Rodrigo, and then DJ Khaled's new album. I don't even know the name.
Khaled.
Khaled. All right. Well, there we go.
God. Before I read mine, Khaled, if DJ Khaled got nominated for Album of the Year, I will wither away to nothing.
I love it. I
Really?
love that album. Yeah, that's just a personal pick completely.
I really tried. I like one song off the album. I did it. That was it.
Oh, I did it. I
Yeah,
like
that's
them all.
one of my most played songs of the year. That's a great song. But anyway, so what I have for Album of the Year is Back of My Mind by H.E.R, Evermore by Taylor Swift, Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, Montero by Lil Nas X, Planet Her by Doja Cat, Sour by Olivia Rodrigo, Star-Crossed by Casey Musgraves, and Starting Over by Chris Stapleton.
Yep.
And I am almost the one I'm most confident in out of all of this, believe it or not, is actually Casey Musgraves.
Same. I meant to add her to my list, but I want to talk about it for a minute. Is she going in the country categories or is she going in the pop categories?
So what happened, because there was that big controversy with that. So like, they have to submit songs to the Grammys, and then I don't know who it was this year because I thought they got rid of the committees, but
right.
The Grammy people, the Grammy gods decided that Star-Crossed wasn't country enough to be in the country category, which to be fair, it really is not a country album. Casey Musgraves hasn't really put out a full country album since like 2015, because I don't think her last album, Golden Hour, should have really counted as country either. But that's still what it's marketed as. And that's what Casey still identifies as. So I think if that's what the artist wants, even if it's not really that genre, let it try to go in that genre. I don't know, but so the album itself is actually moved to the pop category. So if it's nominated, it'll be in pop vocal album.
Yeah, that's where I put it.
And then, but I don't know about the songs. I think she probably put Justified in the pop categories, and maybe something like Camera Roll or the actual song Star-Crossed in the country categories. I'm not really sure. I hope she's all over them though, because I love Casey Musgraves to death. But yeah, but I think that's why she's pretty much guaranteed a spot for Album of the Year, because of where she should be competing in the country field. She's not, and I don't think she'll get nominated in the pop field. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah.
And that's why
Taylor Swift and Olivia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Doja, is that where Doja's gonna go?
Yeah, she's gonna be in pop too. Yeah. Once we get to pop, that's the one category that's actually really stacked this year. That's pop vocal album, because there was a lot of good pop records this year. But when it comes to actual singles, not so much. But anyway, there was one other I wanted to talk about. So with Taylor Swift, do we think she's won Album of the Year 3 times? That's only happened with a couple artists ever in history. Evermore was not quite as critically acclaimed as Folklore, but pretty damn close, and a very, very strong album. Do we think it's possible she could win again?
Yes. Never underestimate the power of Taylor Swift, ever.
Yeah. And And I'm not just saying that because like I love her. Like
No, I'm saying that as a
yeah,
person who doesn't really like her. So
yeah. Exactly. Especially like when you really deep dive into Evermore, there's so much good stuff there. But I feel like it was so similar to Folklore that again, it didn't really get the respect it deserved. And then plus it came out so closely to Folklore that it was
maybe if she had just done a double album like Morgan,
yeah.
and then pushed Folklore's release date back to Evermore, and then that way it would all be.
Yeah, maybe just kind of instead of releasing them in like the summer and then the winter, kind of do it around like a September instead of a July and December. Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't know if Evermore was even a plan when Folklore came out. I think they did it so quickly, but yeah, I don't think you can ever count Taylor out, especially in the album categories. She doesn't always win in the song categories, but her albums are always so solid. So that I don't think she'll win this year. I also think if I had to choose who I think's the front runner is, I also think it's Lil Nas X or Olivia Rodrigo. I think
agree. I agree with those two.
I think they're the top two that you have to watch, but you can't count Taylor out. And with the year Doja Cat had, I don't think you can count her out either. So anyway,
so best new artist.
Best new artist. I was like, what's next? I'm just so excited to be talking again. We haven't done a podcast in so long. If you guys don't know, I moved from South Carolina to San Francisco, and my whole life completely got uprooted and changed in a good way. I almost sounded negative, but so I've been so busy with like starting a new career and moving and just getting used to the area and working different hours at work, and it's just been kind of crazy. So that's why we haven't been able to podcast for Jukebox Junkies or for The Walking Dead. We just have been crazy busy. So anyway, little disclaimer I was going to say at the beginning. Anyway, best new artist. This one is a real mystery. Who would ever win this one this year?
Well, you go first because now I feel dumb.
No, I was being sarcastic. Okay, so who I have on my list. So the first one I have is actually I'm not too familiar with their work, but I was going through like different predictions and stuff, like different articles online, and this name popped up everywhere, so I threw it in here because they know something I don't. But Arlo Parks, I don't know who that is, but it seems pretty likely they're going to get nominated, so I threw them on my list. Then I have Gabby Barrett, Glass Animals, Main Skin, Olivia Rodrigo, Polo G, Saweetie, and the Kid Laroi.
Okay. So I didn't know if Olivia was eligible or not. I couldn't remember. So I had her on my list, but I took her off. So I have the Kid Laroi, I have Giveon, we have Lotto, have Mitchell Tenpenny, Masked Wolf, and Tate McRae. Is she eligible?
Yep, she's eligible. Actually, I think all of them you said except for Giveon are eligible.
Her.
So Giveon is not eligible because it's really dumb, because I think this is a new rule, but he's been nominated for a Grammy before. He was nominated last year in the R&B categories, but he just wasn't popular yet, so no one remembers that. But yeah, so he was nominated last year in the R&B category, so I guess that deems him ineligible for Best New Artist this year, which makes no sense because Meghan Trainor was nominated for like Record of the Year with All About That Bass and lost. Then the next year was nominated for Best New Artist and won.
Right.
So, but from what I've been seeing everywhere, Giveon isn't eligible, which is really dumb because he's definitely someone who deserves to be nominated.
Yeah, for sure.
So they have got to change their eligibility rules. It drives me crazy. Like if they change the eligibility rules, Levitating, the regular version, could be nominated and most likely would win Record of the Year. It's really frustrating. Anyway, yeah, you had another one on there I wanted to say something about. Tate McRae. I wanted her on my list very badly. I took her off. She was one of the ones I took off at the last second just because she had her really big moment and then she kind of fizzled. She hasn't done she had You Broke Me First, which was huge, and then nothing else has really caught on. So I think she was a front runner at the start, and then I don't think she has that kind of staying power right now.
So next year.
Yeah, maybe. She should be eligible next year. They can be submitted 3 times before they're deemed ineligible.
Heard.
So, but Gabby Barrett, I think, should have a really good shot this year. You don't think?
Gabby has been, her performance has been underwhelming in my personal opinion, but also I don't really keep up with country charts. Is she on country charts? Is she charting?
Yeah, so after I Hope was so huge last year, she had another #1 country song with The Good Ones. I don't know if you know The Good Ones.
No.
It's a really good song. It's very bare bones country, more of a ballad just about how her husband's one of the good ones. It's a very good song.
Her husband is one of the good ones, though. Yeah. They are so cute.
Are they? They met on American Idol,
American Idol. His name's Cade Foner, and they're adorable.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was something like that, but her album came out this past year during this year's eligibility period, so I think that might make her a little bit more of a contender than last year. I think the reason she missed last year was because she did only have really one song. And so I don't think it would have been right, looking back on it, to nominate someone who's really just has one random song. But now she has a full body of work. And so I think it's a lot more feasible to have her nominated this year. But
we'll see. I think the kid's gonna win it.
I
think he's gonna take it home. Yeah.
I think definitely the Kid Laroi and Olivia Rodrigo are the top 2 contenders. And if that's another thing, if they do give Olivia some other awards, I think this would be a great place to award the Kid Laroi, who
for sure
most likely won't win any other categories, even though Stay was huge this year and so was Without You. But yeah, so I'd totally be fine with the Kid Laroi winning. In my perfect world, maybe we would see Glass Animals win or Saweetie, but that's not going to happen. Especially because we had Megan Thee Stallion win last year, so we won't win this year, even if she is nominated.
For sure.
But yeah, so another one, Masked Wolf. So you've mentioned him a couple times in your nominees. I don't have him on any of the general field. I don't know if I have him anywhere else, actually. He's a weird one for me too.
I like weird stuff.
Yeah, I like Masked Wolf. I think Astronaut in the Ocean's a great song, but it's the same thing, kind of my thought process with Tate McRae. He didn't have a strong follow-up.
His album is amazing.
Is it?
Gravity Gliding, Bop, Say So. There's quite a few other songs that will gain traction. You just got to give them a little bit of time. It just dropped pretty recently.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say yes.
End of July, beginning of August.
You what?
End of July or beginning of August.
I was gonna say, I know Say So. That started kind of climbing charts and then fell right off, which was very disappointing because I thought it was a good song. It reminded me of early Flo Rida.
Yeah.
It kind of had that, it was the pop rap feel that used to be really popular in the early 2000s, that I thought it was pretty good, but apparently not a lot of people agreed. I don't know why. But so yeah, he's the one I could definitely see in there. And then when it comes to country, if it's not Gabby Barrett in there, I could definitely see Mitchell Tenpenny in there, or someone you probably don't know who he is, Jimmy Allen. He actually just won a Best New Artist at CMA or CMT, whichever one was last night. CMAs. Yeah. He won Best New Artist over Gabby Barrett last night. So if there were someone in country, I could definitely see Mitchell Tenpenny or Jimmy Allen in there too. We'll see. Best New Artist is the hardest one to predict. There's going to be 7 artists in there we've probably never heard of,
For sure.
But yeah, so shall we move?
Nessa Barrett. Did any of us say Nessa Barrett for Best New Artist?
No, she's a good one to bring up though. I think she'll be a contender maybe next year once we have a little bit more from her. La Di Da was pretty popular this year, and then I Hope You're Miserable Till You're Dead is still kind of climbing and building and still very new. So I think she'd be more of a contender for next year.
Cool.
She's
Well,
definitely someone that's bubbling under who I could see. There was one more I wanted to talk about. Blackpink. Blackpink, the K-pop group?
Yeah.
They weren't nominated last year when a lot of people thought they were. I guess they were. I found out they were submitted again this year. Do we think they have a shot getting in since BTS was nominated in some fields last year? Do we think we could get Blackpink in there?
I feel like there's one song of theirs that I've listened to, and I don't know. I don't do K-pop. I listen to Latin music.
Yeah. I don't listen to a lot of K-pop at all.
But I guess they're very popular. They are popular. I don't think that they have quite the popularity that BTS does.
Yeah.
But I mean, BTS was like a phenomenon pretty much as soon as they hit the ground though. So
yeah,
that's
especially
kind of hard to compare.
Yeah. And then neither of us had Butter. Talking about K-pop, none of us had Butter on our list. But that was the song of the summer. That was, I think, still as of right now, the number one or the longest running number one song of the year. Because it was like Butter and Good For You at number one and number two on Billboard for the entire summer. But for some reason, to me, it still doesn't feel as popular as Dynamite was. Like, not even close. I don't think of Butter at all when I think of big hits this year. I don't know why that is. I also don't like it as much as Dynamite. I thought it was a much weaker song.
Yeah.
But shall we move on to the pop categories?
Sure.
I think there's a lot more like people that could have been in the general field that aren't in the pop field, and like some other categories that we can talk about. So shall we do pop solo performance, best pop solo performance?
Sure.
All right, what do you have?
Well, Deja Vu by Olivia Rodrigo. Dancing with the Devil by Demi Lovato. Your Power by Billie Eilish, just because I feel like that's going to be the one that is just the strongest to me personally.
Yeah.
I don't know if does the Zombie on Plastic Hearts from Miley, does it count?
It wasn't a single, so I'm gonna guess probably not.
Okay, well then Midnight Sky. And just because for fun and a personal pick, Girl from Rio.
Okay, Anita. That would be a big deal if Anita got nominated. And Girl from Rio was decently popular. It also kind of falls into the remix with the Baby was the one that really started taking off in the US. And then right when that happened, the Baby thing happened, and then it kind of fell off the charts and kind of everything it was building to. Because I was hearing it on the radio all the time. It was just not serious radio, just like regular radio around San Francisco. So I would love for Anita to get nominated. That'd be so cool because that is a really good song.
Yes.
Really fun song. So good pick. You had a lot of really good ones in there. Miley, I did not put in. And then you went with Deja Vu because there's so many Olivia songs to choose from. It's kind of like, okay, let's just pick one out of the hat, and it's Traitor this time. Oh, it's Brutal this time. Because you just don't know. But so for what I have is Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo, of course, Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, Montero by Lil Nas X, Positions by Ariana Grande, Willow by Taylor Swift, and I put Levitating by Dua Lipa on here. And there's one way I could see it still being nominated. A lot of times this has happened with like Havana a couple years ago by Camila Cabello. It's happened for some other songs. They'll say it's the live version and then it makes it eligible. I don't know if there was like a quote unquote live version of Levitating, like a official version that could
right.
be. I just really want it to be nominated. It deserves it. And Dua just needs to win more Grammys. It's irritating.
Yeah, because we're about to go on year 3 of Dua. Year 3.
Literally, like of the future nostalgia era.
It's so great. I'm So proud.
And if I was to, so if Levitating still wasn't eligible, We're Good could easily slide in there too.
Yeah, but I don't think that it will.
No, it does not have that same kind of, it doesn't scream Grammy nominated song to me.
Right. If We're Good got nominated, it would be like that Dylan Francis remix in the like dance remix or dance category, probably.
Yeah, it definitely could happen because there is a category of best remix song.
Yeah.
I don't know if you put predictions down for that. I didn't.
No, there's so many categories. I just did the ones I knew we would talk about.
But that is definitely one that could most likely be nominated for best remixed recording. I think that's what it's called. It's not the dance categories. It's like way down.
Yeah, for sure. It's like down there with songwriting and stuff.
Yeah, which is random. It should be towards the top more maybe. But yeah, so let's see. I guess we kind of talked about all of those artists in there already. We haven't talked about Ariana Grande, which I think is a really complicated one going into Grammys this year. What do you think?
I think that Thank You Next was such a great album, and it was just such a big era altogether, and this one just wasn't the same for me. I love Ariana Grande so much, so much. I respect her more than I can even explain. But to me, I just like I listen to it and I vibe because I always will. But do I know the words to every song on the album? Absolutely not.
No. So. Yeah. So with Ariana, I kind of have the same thoughts process as you do right now. It was not a bad album. I'm not saying Positions was a bad album. It was not. It was a fine album. It was a fine body of work. She kind of went in a more softer R&B side, which is great. It fits her voice really well. She sounds beautiful on a lot of the album, but it just didn't stick with me. Aside from the singles, and even like Positions, it took me a while to kind of get into it when it first came out, but then I was like, yeah, this is a good song. So I still will listen to that song. Same with 3435. I think that's a great song. POV took a while for me to get into, but once I like figured it out, I really liked it. But other than that, she's a complicated one because it's Ariana Grande, so she's a huge superstar. So she releases something, you're like, oh yeah, it'll be nominated. She's just kind of an automatic like add on here, kind of like a Taylor or an Adele. She's kind of hit that status. So I don't know. I think it's possible she could end up in the general field just because, like in record of the year and stuff, just because we don't have a lot of super strong contenders this year. So I could see Positions. I don't think 3435. I think if there is a song, it'd be Positions. I could see it sliding in places. I just don't know. That's a really complicated one for me that I've gone back and forth on. But yeah, and then do we think Doja Cat has had so many songs this year? The big one was Kiss Me More, but then she's had like, when it comes to just solo, she had Ain't Shit, she had Woman, she had Get Into It, she had Need to Know. Like she has all of these huge songs. I don't have any of them on my best pop solo list. Did you have any? You had Need to Know, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No.
But I do have Need to Know somewhere.
I know. I heard you say it at one point.
I guess I did say it.
But but Doja
knows for record of the year.
Oh, okay.
How much faith I've got in that one.
That song took a long time to grow on. Doja Cat as a whole, I think we've kind of experienced Doja Cat throughout this past year together. Like at least when it comes to my feelings, because I was very kind of lukewarm on Say So last year.
Yeah.
And you loved it. And it took me a very long time to figure Doja Cat out. She's so weird. Her music, she has such a different sound. She's not pop. She's not rap. She's not R&B. She's Doja Cat. Like she's her own sound. I don't know what it is. And it's finally clicking that it's really good. It took a long time. It took like a year and a half for me to understand Doja Cat. But now I'm full Doja Cat fan, like full on. Like I listened to Ain't, my favorite song on the whole album is Ain't Shit. I think it is fantastic.
Yeah. I listen because we're going to a world where there's not going to be genres anymore. We won't have to have the discussion about whether Casey Musgraves belongs in pop or country.
Yeah.
We'll just nominate Casey Musgraves.
Exactly. And I think I love the thought that genres are so blurred anymore. And that's I've actually when I was still in school, when we were going to school together, I wrote articles and wrote papers about how streaming is changing music as a whole, because you don't just turn to a pop station or to a rap station or to a rock station anymore on your radio for the most part. Now you just go and you listen to random playlists on Spotify, or you curate your own. And most people don't just like one genre. Like I go from listening to Doja Cat to Chris Stapleton to whoever. Like I listen to everything. Like I don't have one specific sound that I love. I have artists I prefer over others, but when it comes to genre, I like them all. And now a lot of artists are realizing they don't have to fit into the mold, because they have more power now with the internet being so popular. They don't have to just please a record label and do this sound. And that's why like Taylor is able to start releasing these vault tracks from these past albums that what her record label told her, no, that doesn't fit for this reason, or you can't put this on there for this reason. Now she's like, fuck it, I can do whatever I want. And that's what Doja Cat's doing, and Billie Eilish is doing. Olivia Rodrigo
is doing.
Put out like a Paramore-esque rock album this year. Who would have thought? Like Ariana Grande went basically R&B. Like you have all these artists just doing different genres. It's amazing. Like Bruno Mars going full on R&B, not like pop R&B. Like it's great. So yeah, I like that you brought that up, because it's really fun to be able to watch the evolution of genres right now, because Casey Musgraves is a perfect example of that.
For sure.
Like Justified do you know that Justified, the song?
Yeah.
It's like my favorite song right now. I think it's amazing. But it has country hints and it has pop hints, but it's not either one of them really. And that's kind of a blessing and a curse, because you still kind of have to get radio traction to really be able to do well. It's still like a flaw like in the chart system and stuff. Country radio has never really liked Casey Musgraves, and pop radio is trying, but it's like Justified peaked at like 38 and now is kind of dwindling down, and it's really frustrating because she's such a fantastic artist.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Florence and the Machine has had the same problem. I was
gonna say, and the problem is when you don't fit in either, they usually just lump you into like alternative or indie or some vague description that's not really what you are either.
Exactly. My laptop is dying. Sorry guys, I'm moving all around. I forgot to charge it and it was about to die, so I had to get closer to my charger. Okay. There we go. Okay, all set now. But yeah, so that we went on a tangent just for best pop solo performance, but it was a good tangent. We actually, look at us, sounded like educated folk.
What you say?
I told you guys we went to music business school. Like Chelsea's about to have her master's degree in music business. We're not complete idiots when it comes to this.
Well, digital marketing for my master's.
Oh, that's what it is? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I thought it was, I assumed you still were doing music business or the entertainment.
Well, that's a discussion for later, but
gotcha. Stick around for part 2 where we just talked about our education for an hour.
For sure.
Anyway, do you want to go ahead and do your best pop duo group performance?
Okay, so I have Without You or Stay, just because I couldn't decide. I couldn't just pick one.
Yeah.
Because they're equally as close to my heart.
Yeah, 2 fantastic songs.
I got Best Friend, Sweetie, and Doja Cat.
Okay.
I have Cold Heart. Elton and Dua, but it's the remix, so I don't know if that would go in the remix category.
No, I think it'll go in the pop category. I don't. It could go in the remix category, but I think because that's the main version of the song that's popular, I would assume it's because it's not like a Roses by St. John from last year, kind of its own thing. So that'd be my guess. So I think you have it right.
And then I have Met Him Last Night, Ariana Grande and Demi Lovato. Memory, Kane Brown and Black Bear, and Prisoner, Miley Cyrus and Dua Lipa.
Okay, we actually do have some overlap here. And I really want Prisoner on my list. Why did I not put Prisoner on my list? Oh, that's why. I know why I did put it on my list. I'll explain in a second. So I have Butter by BTS, Cold Heart by Elton John, Dua Lipa, the P Now remix, Higher Power by Coldplay, Kiss Me More by Doja Cat and SZA, Rumors by Cardi B and Lizzo, and Stay by The Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber.
Right. I almost put Rumors. I thought real hard about Rumors.
But I really love Prisoner. The only reason I don't have it on here is because I don't know if they'd put two Dua songs in the category. And I really think because it's Elton John having a hit again, I think Cold Heart is more likely. So that's why I put it on there. But if they just wanted to put Dua and Taylor in all the categories, that'd be fine with me. So there was one, you had another one I wanted to bring up. What was it? I have the worst memory retention. I don't remember.
Best Friend.
Best Friend, that's what it was. I have no idea what category that'll be in this year either. Is it pop? Is it rap? Is it melodic rap? No idea.
I feel like it's pop. I feel like
it was a top 10 pop radio hit. Yeah.
It's a pop song.
Yeah, I have it. We'll talk about it later. I have it in the rap categories because I think because they do have to do their submissions, and I don't know exactly what all the submissions were for this year. I would think, and I don't know if Sweetie and Doja Cat are on the same label, so it's very possible they had no interaction at all. But if they're on the same label, I would bet Kiss Me More is going to go to pop, and then Best Friend will go to rap. But I have no idea. That would
doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I think both of us had very, very good lists for duo and group performance. That's a very tough category, I think.
Yeah.
So best pop vocal album. So this is the last main one we'll talk about, and then we'll just kind of touch on some other categories. Does that sound good?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I have best pop vocal album. I have all the artists we've already talked about. So it's not going to be really a surprise to anyone. I have Evermore by Taylor Swift, Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, Montero by Lil Nas X, Planet Her by Doja Cat, Positions by Ariana Grande, and Sour by Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay. So I have Montero, Lil Nas X. I have Sour, Olivia Rodrigo. I have Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. Also have Casey Musgraves. Okay. But I also added The Art of Starting Over by Demi Lovato. Plastic Hearts by Miley Cyrus, just because I'm hopeful, and Justice for Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I kind of alluded to earlier, there is a lot of albums that could easily get into this category. The Shawn Mendes album is also eligible. He's been nominated here before, so he could also slide in. But yeah, Demi, Miley, Shawn, and Justin, I think all have a very, very good chance of getting in. I don't know if they will. I just kind of had to pick and choose. This is probably the most competitive category for me this year.
My thing is, this is the most Demi Lovato has ever deserved a Grammy.
I know.
Ever.
I'm hopeful that if the music itself isn't nominated, maybe she gets nominated for like music film. I don't know if her documentary counts in music film.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because I don't really think too much about that either. But she definitely, I completely agree. Same with Miley. Both Demi Lovato and Miley Cyrus put out the best music of their careers with their last albums. And I don't know if sometimes just as as artists are around for a long time, they start even their best work isn't going to catch on as well as some newer artists. And even I think maybe the one exception to that the past couple of years is Taylor and like Maroon 5. Like you have like those couple that kind of always stick around, but for the most part, maybe Demi Lovato and Miley Cyrus just are becoming more legacy artists instead of mainstream artists. And I hate that, but maybe they've just kind of already had their time to shine. And now they're just going to be more legacy artists instead of current artists. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I hate that, but I don't know. Could be, could not be. You never know. Billy Ray Cyrus had a #1 song a couple years ago. Coldplay still is putting out music, so you never know. But that is one I want to talk about is Coldplay. Where did I have them? Yeah. Oh yeah, for best pop. That's what it was. When I was like, there was another one I wanted to talk about is Coldplay. So they were nominated for Album of the Year last year with an album pretty much the world forgot about except for you. Weren't you the one that was like super excited about it?
Yeah. I was very happy to see them nominated.
Yeah. And then so they put out another album. I think the album itself, if I'm remembering correctly, missed the eligibility period for this year, so it comes out, could be nominated next year. But Higher Power and My Universe with BTS, I'm pretty sure. I think My Universe is eligible this year. I think it came out just in time. Because I guess they are kind of Grammy favorites in a lot of ways. Do you think they could kind of be an upset and maybe they could leave out someone like a Lil Nas X for a Coldplay? Do you think that's possible?
Coldplay's another person well, they're a band, but they're another artist just like Taylor Swift that you never, because Coldplay is genius. And I understand that, they're older and they've been around, but they're still genius and they're still producing content that people my age love, people a lot younger than me love, people older than me love. So, it's the staying power, and for sure.
Yeah, I've always loved Coldplay, and they're not always a band that comes to my mind immediately when I think of my favorite artists, but every time I hear a new Coldplay song or they just come up on my shuffle, I'm like, oh my God, like I love this so much. And yeah, I love Coldplay. So it's like one of those weird things, like, should they take a spot away from someone like Lil Nas X this year? Probably not, but it definitely could happen.
Nas is gonna get nominated for so many things. Like, what's one slot?
Fair enough.
But also, I walk down the aisle to Coldplay, so that's how much I love Coldplay.
What song?
Paradise.
That's amazing. That's one of my favorite Coldplay songs.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. But yeah, so that is kind of the main categories that like that. Those are the big ones that everyone talks about. What are some other categories you wanted to kind of get into a little bit?
So I just have I have a few rap categories. I try to do best rap song and rap melodic performance.
Okay, yeah, I have those too. We can do those if you like.
Okay. But I really struggled. I struggled with hip hop this year because what was it?
Yeah, there was no really strong rap hits at all this year. Yeah. I kind of, and it hadn't dawned on me until like you just, okay. I guess, should we just jump back into it and then I can just cut this?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
But yeah, so we can talk about, so you did rap song. You said
rap song and rap melodic performance.
Okay, do you want to go ahead and say what you had for rap song and then I'll do mine?
Wants and Needs by Drake.
Okay.
Have Every Chance I Get, Lil Baby and DJ Khaled. And I think it's like Dirk or somebody else's.
Lil Durk, yeah.
Yeah. I put Lotto, Big Energy, just because.
That's a great song.
Just because.
Yeah.
And here we are again with Astronaut in the Ocean.
Okay.
And Rap Star, Polo G.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just read what I have. I have Best Friend by Saweetie and Doja Cat, Body by Megan Thee Stallion, Rap Star by Polo G, Up by Cardi B. And this is where I was like, there's not even another song I think worthy of being eligible. I threw in Way Too Sexy by Drake, Future, and Young Thug, which I hate that song. If we do a top 10 worst songs of the year list, we'll be hearing from Drake multiple times this year. But yeah.
So I
very weak category this year.
It is. It really is. I didn't know if Up was eligible. I should have just looked, but I might as well, right?
Yeah.
Might as well go with it. Yeah.
I think if I had to choose a front runner, it'd be Up or Rap Star.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like last year was the rap categories were so intense with Megan Thee Stallion, DaBaby, and Roddy Ricch. No one had any idea. They're like all of them should win. It was very difficult this year. There's not a single one of those songs that I think stand up to any of those. And
not at all.
Yeah, I could definitely see Wants and Needs by Drake going in there instead, Drake and Lil Baby. I could see them throwing a couple different DJ Khaled songs in there. It could be Every Chance I Get with Lil Baby and Lil Durk. That's who it is, right? Lil Baby and Lil Durk.
I think it is Lil Durk.
Yeah. And then why does that keep and then or it could be I Did It with Post Malone, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, I forget about that one.
Yeah. But yeah, it's such a weak category. I don't really know even who the front runner would be. I guess if I had to pick Cardi or Polo G, but I really don't know. It's really weak.
Yeah. So then best rap melodic performance, Montero, Call Me by Your Name, Tell Me You Love Me. I think we'll win it all the way.
Very, very possible.
I put Rap Star again and Antisocial by Migos of Juice WRLD, and that's it. That's what I have.
Okay. I don't think I know Antisocial.
That's my favorite off of it's Culture 3, right? That's
Culture 3, yeah.
That's my favorite off the entire album.
I didn't even listen to that album. I'm so bad. I didn't like it's bad when they say like your lead single is hit or like you have to have the right lead single or it completely makes people uninterested. I did not like Straightening. I did not like that song.
I love Straightening.
And so I was like, I'm not even interested.
But I like the Migos. I like Southeast hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They're Atlanta boys.
Right. Yeah. I like Migos.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have Industry Baby by Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
I have Rap Star by Polo G, Best Friend by Sweetie and Doja Cat, Body by Megan Thee Stallion, and Calling My Phone by Lil TJ and Black.
Every time you say Body, all I can hear is my twin godsons. They're about to be 3 in March, and they went through this phase where they would come over and they would go, chill, yada, 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 right? And so I would just have to play that song on repeat, but not just the song. They're like, no, we want the TikTok compilations. So it was literally just Body, yada, 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 yada.
Oh, I love that song. That would drive me crazy.
Every time they came over for at least 3 months.
That's crazy. And there's each other 3.
Yeah, they just
they don't know.
They just dance to it. Yeah, they just dance with it. They're funny.
And I'm so curious. Also, like with Lil Nas X, if he shows up in rap categories or not, because he's one of those artists that he's definitely a rapper, but he's so much rock
star and a rock star.
Yeah. So yeah, he blurs the lines of genre. So I think it's very likely this is where Industry Baby will get its due instead of Montero, but Montero is such a big hit, it could just
I gotta tell you, I was never really sure about Lil Nas X. You know what I'm saying? Like his persona's a bit much, right? I'm just gonna be honest.
No, it is.
And I didn't really know how to take him, but this album, I don't care. I don't care about anything else. This album is amazing and it slaps, and go ahead, do your thing.
And even if like you don't like it, like if someone says they don't like his music, one thing that you cannot argue with is that he is such a genius when it comes to his marketing, which
For
I'm
sure.
sure you recognize right away. Like even like when he was leading up to Industry Baby, he took the whole controversy with the Nike blood shoes and he pretended he did this whole skit about him being on trial, and he played all the characters. He's a great actor. He played all the characters, and then that little skit led into the Industry Baby music video, and that set up that whole concept. And every single thing he does, now I've talked about this with Taylor Swift too, everything that both of them do is so intentional, and they don't have a misstep when it comes to promotion. They're the two best self-promoters, I think,
For sure.
in the game. And this year, Lil Nas X just took it to a whole different level. And it's funny, my boyfriend hates him because he thinks he's using gay culture to just in making himself look like a hoe to make people like him. But hey, whether that's true or not, it worked.
Right.
And
You know,
the quality of music's there, so it doesn't really matter, I don't think.
I think the man he's a true artist all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Like deep in his core, he's an artist, and I fucks with it.
Yeah.
I do.
I really think like it was apparent. I remember writing about this in college. It was apparent that Lil Nas X was very creative and very innovative for the music genre, but that was just the Old Town Road, and no one knew what was going to come of him after that, because you just when you have a song like that that's such like a novelty hit, you don't really expect them to actually have a full-blown career. And so I was like, he did a great thing, like this was a great song, he had his moment, but that's it. And he proved everybody wrong this year.
For sure. Like literally everyone.
Yeah.
And it's great. And he's going to win all the Grammys.
I cannot wait. It's going to be like how last year was like the year of Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, like winning everything. This year is going to be the year of Olivia, Doja, and Lil Nas X, I think.
Yeah.
As much as I want Taylor and Dua in there, I don't know if it's going to happen.
For sure.
But let's see. What I threw together. Do you listen to much rock alternative?
A little bit. What you got?
I did best rock song, but I don't listen to a lot of rock, but I feel like it's not that rock ever died or went away, but it's become much more mainstream again.
Yes.
Like Beggin' by Mainskin's a huge smash hit. That's a full-blown rock song.
Yeah.
So I did do best rock song this year. I have Beggin' by Mainskin, Forget Me Too by Machine Gun Kelly and Halsey, Gasoline by Haim and Taylor Swift, Waiting on a War by Foo Fighters, and Shy Away by 21 Pilots.
Heard. Yeah. There was something I was thinking of when we were gonna go into this category. I can't remember. There was somebody that I was like, oh, they belong here.
Yeah. Olivia Rodrigo?
No.
Glass Animals?
I don't know. Some obscure something another, probably, I'm sure. But
well, it'll probably come to you.
Yeah, it's not that important.
One thing that I want to, so there's a couple things just.
Transparent Soul.
Yeah, that's one of the things I want to talk about. And that's kind of a testament to how good alternative rock was this year, is that was one of the biggest rock hits, and I don't even have that on here. I don't, just because it's Willow Smith, like no matter how good the music is, I'm like, it's Willow Smith. So it's like one of those weird things. Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
I told my friend that the other day, and she was like, Chelsey, you can't hold that against her. The girl was like 12. When she was 12, she probably felt cool singing about whipping her hair back and forth. And I said, look, it's nothing personal against Willow Smith. She can play. She shreds a guitar like nobody's business. Okay. I'm not judging you. Sing your heart out, but it is very hard to see this super dramatic go from pop to, because basically overnight, we didn't even really know you were making music. You were red table talking and such.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then here you are, full blown rock star.
Yeah, it really came out of nowhere this year. And because she just goes by Willow now, like I don't even think I realized right away that it was Willow Smith.
I was like, there is no other Willow. It's her. I definitely Googled to make sure, but yeah.
Yeah. So I would love for Willow Smith to become a Grammy nominated artist. I assume, I have not looked this up, I assume Will Smith has been nominated and or won Grammys. I don't know for
Probably
sure.
back in the day. I was really young too when he was popular for his music. So I mean, I was like probably 5. So
Yeah, so that'd be
maybe even
definitely
younger.
something I want to look up. But that'd be really cool, like if Willow Smith got nominated in the rock category of all things. Um, but I do want to talk about Machine Gun Kelly. Uh, so you're not a fan, I take it. But you have to admit, whether like you're a fan or not, he really had.
X's best friend could easily go in this rock category that we're talking about. I like Black Bear though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Yeah,
all
I went with Forget Me Too just because it's a little more rock than My Ex's Best
Yeah.
Friend, but My Ex's Best Friend was a bigger hit, so it could definitely be in there. But he's never been nominated for a Grammy before, so it'd be kind of cool, I think. But you're not on the same page. I can tell by your face.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that have never been Graminated. They've never been Graminated.
They've never been. I like that term. We have to start saying that. He's never been Graminated.
I don't know. It's nothing personal. I just don't really. He's another person that I just don't really understand, and I don't think I'm ever going to, because he's never released anything that makes me say, "Hey, that slaps." Not really.
No, and I agree. Like I love Bad Things.
But that's because of
Camila.
Camila Cabello.
Yeah, but I love Camila Cabello, so it's like,
Exactly.
do I like it because of Machine Gun Kelly? Not really. He's the worst part of that song. Camila steals it. The one song I think of his that I genuinely love is called "Go for Broke." It came out a few years ago with James Arthur. I don't know if you know it. But that is a genuinely good song. It actually has really good lyrics. I don't know why it wasn't a hit. It came out right after Bad Things, and then for some reason just never took off, but it should have. I don't know. But
I mean, MGK, he's everywhere, so it is a possibility. You know what I'm saying? It is a very real possibility, and if the Academy wants to be more up to date, then they might.
Yeah, I think it would do the Grammys a lot of good to start nominating more of today's. Like this might sound weird, but they always kind of go for the same artists over and over again, and if you don't kind of get into that circle, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
And I don't. Machine Gun Kelly's not one of those artists in that circle. And so, but it would be nice, and not just Machine Gun Kelly, when it got people like Willow Smith or like Halsey has barely ever. She's been nominated for 1 Grammy as a featured artist on Closer with the Chainsmokers. Like there's a lot of these artists that for some reason just don't get nominated for Grammys. Demi Lovato and Miley Cyrus, they've both been nominated. Miley's been nominated once. Demi's been nominated twice?
Yeah.
Like they, for some reason, they just don't really get in there. And I think it would do the Grammys a lot of good to start switching it up a little bit and actually going with. I don't think you need to just nominate everything that's popular, because just because it's popular doesn't mean it's quality.
True.
But also it's popular for a reason. So I don't think if you pick this obscure hit from this obscure artist, that's great for that artist and that song. And I'm sure it's a great song. Like there's a reason why it's there, but also there could be a reason why it's not popular. And if you're putting that there over something that everybody adores and was a huge hit, I kind of have a problem with that. It's such a weird. I have such a hard time knowing my feelings on that.
Okay, well, because if they're choosing based off of the quality of content alone, Florence and the Machine should have at least 4 Grammys, 1 for every album.
Yeah. Well, someone like Lana Del Rey, who critics
for sure
love, has she
who
ever?
I did not even bother to put on my list for her last album, because they don't even act like they know she exists.
Yeah, like I've never been huge into Lana Del Rey. I've never really got into her. She's not really my kind of artist, but which is weird. You would think she would be for the kind of artists I really love, but she just doesn't click for me. Oh, that reminds me, I want to talk about Lorde at one point. But yes, but like her last album, Norman fucking Rockwell, I love saying that. Norman fucking Rockwell was nominated for Album of the Year. And from what I've seen, just from like critics and people like different like people on the internet and stuff, that probably should have won that year. Like that's considered one of the greatest albums to ever be released. So
Yes.
but the Grammys, I don't know. I used to think like if you win a Grammy, that's like that means they're the best. Now I'm like, it's just a game. You kind of have to figure out how the gamies, how the Grammys play the game, and you kind of have
Yeah,
to go with that. And I don't think that's right. But
for sure.
but so I just want to touch on. Let's see. I have two more categories I really want to touch on, and then what was it? Two, three. That I want to touch on just really quickly, and then you want to touch on the dance category too? Did you?
You know what? I didn't even make a list.
No? Okay.
No.
That's the one that I really just never really know. That's all I do. So I'll touch on, so for best R&B song, I think R&B could be a pretty interesting category this year. I have Damaged by Her, Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic, Heartbreak Anniversary by Giveon, Good Days by SZA, and Pick Up Your Feelings by Jasmine Sullivan.
Solid choices.
Yeah,
I really feel like Silk Sonic's gonna clean up too.
oh yeah, I hate that for Giveon and SZA. Did I have? Okay, I did have SZA on there for a second. I was like, oh my god, did I not put SZA on that because I love her. I hate that for Giveon and SZA because they both had such great years. But Leave the Door Open, like Silk Sonic, is great. So I'm not mad at it for winning at all because it is genuinely good music. But I loved Heartbreak Anniversary and Good Days so much this year that I'm like, huh, that's not fair. Can't they all win?
Unfortunately, not.
One thing I did see, I think this is on Billboard.com. So Peaches, Justin Bieber, Daniel Caesar, and Giveon actually got submitted to the R&B categories, not pop, and which I think is kind of dumb because it is an R&B song, but it's also
It's pop song.
yeah, it's a pop song. But so it could also like take one of these spots. I don't know. Really know too much about Jasmine Sullivan. I just know that she's been a really big R&B artist this year. So maybe Peaches takes that spot, but then will they nominate Giveon twice? And if Giveon's going to be in there, it better be for Heartbreak Anniversary. So it's very, very difficult.
Right.
And then best country song, touch on it just for a second. I know you don't really listen to country.
Fancy like.
I know. So I have Drunk by El King and Miranda Lambert, The Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home. Fancy Like by Walker Hayes, Forever After All by Luke Combs, Justified by Casey Musgraves, Starting Over by Chris Stapleton.
I have I Quit Drinking by Kelsey Ballerini and Chasing After You, Ryan Hurd and Maren Morris.
Okay. I love both those songs. You know how much I love Kelsey Ballerini.
Yes.
And like, so it was funny. So last year when we did our favorite songs of the year list, I had Hole in the Bottle by Kelsey Ballerini on my list. And I was like, this isn't even a popular song, wasn't even a single, whatever. I just love her. Then it hit number one on pop radio, or not pop radio, country radio. Got huge. I shouldn't say huge, but it did moderately well. So it's eligible this year. I would love to see Kelsey Ballerini thrown in there. I've kind of lost hope after she wasn't nominated for Kelsey, which I thought was such a great album. But I Quit Drinking is also a fantastic song, and that's the more popular one right now. It's doing pretty well on adult contemporary radio, so that'd be cool. I don't really know.
Yeah, that's just a couple I threw right off my head. Like these are the ones I really like.
Yeah, no.
At least I have some country input this year, right?
Yeah. And Maren Morris, is always a good option for that. Chasing After You is a good song. Isn't Ryan Hurd is her husband, right?
Is he?
I think so. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
there
that's
was.
even cuter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't quote me on that, but
I'll find out.
yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure. So that would be an awesome moment for them as a couple. And it is a really good song, really big song too. So that'd be cool. As long as Fancy Like does not win it. I worked at Applebee's for a very long time. You know how much torture it is to me to hear every 5 seconds.
You don't know the dance?
Oh, no. I definitely refused to learn it. And if I hadn't worked at Applebee's for so long, maybe I would like that song because it is catchy and I get the appeal. I do. But
I don't really like the song. I only know it because my friend, she plays it on repeat.
yeah.
Repeat.
But I think it's one of the biggest country songs, or one
for
of the
sure,
biggest
like,
songs overall. Yeah. I think it has to be nominated. I just don't want it to be. But it was torture hearing Applebee's on a date night with the Bourbon Street steak and the Oreo shake every 5 seconds. Like,
and you're like, that was literally my life.
yeah.
I don't care.
I listen to music to relax, not to think about work.
Not to get PTSD.
Literally. Like guys, thankfully I don't work in the food industry now. Like I chose to do something else. So I don't have to torture myself with Applebee's. Like, so I can kind of appreciate the song a little bit more. But now it's like, I just got rid of you. Get away from
and here you are forever
but,
on my back.
Yeah. So my assumption for that to win is going to be Chris Stapleton. I don't see how Starting Over doesn't win, especially after it cleaned up at the CMA Awards last night. I'd love to see Casey Musgraves win it though, or Chelsey Ballerini if she got in there for Hold the Bottle, or I Quit Drinking, or Half of My Hometown. I think any of those I'd be so down for. It'd be awesome. If I had to do a personal pick, if it wasn't going to be Casey Musgraves, definitely Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home, Elle King, Miranda Lambert. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
I love it. Definitely one of my favorite songs of the year. Then the only other one I did was Best Music Video. I threw it together really quickly. I know you don't really watch music videos, so I figured you probably wouldn't have this one. But real quick, so I have Demi Lovato, Dance with the Devil, Olivia Rodrigo, Good For You, Lil Nas X, Montero, Harry Styles, Treat People with Kindness, and Taylor Swift, Willow.
Okay, so I've seen them all except Harry's, and yeah, solid choices.
Okay, cool. You've actually
seen. I feel like Nas will take that one home too, though.
Agreed. And then one I'm just thinking about, yeah, if I had to pick, I think Lil Nas X, just his visuals are amazing. I think he'll win it.
Yeah.
He's won that category before with Old Town Road, won Best Music Video. It popped in my head and then I lost it. Oh, Pop Star, DJ Khaled and Drake. I don't know when that music video came out, but if it's eligible.
If it's eligible, it's winning.
Yeah.
In my heart.
Yeah. And even if it doesn't win, I think it will be nominated. That's a great music video. DJ Khaled definitely does good with his visuals.
I didn't like that song until I watched that video.
Me too. Yeah, I think we've even talked about that before because I think you had that on your best songs list last year, right? Yeah. That was one of those songs that I did not like the first time I heard it. I thought Drake's cadence was weird. I thought the flow just did not work. DJ Khaled is always the worst part of all of his songs. I just can't stand the whole DJ Khaled be the best. Another one.
Keep going.
But he does make some good music, so it's always a love-hate relationship with me. But if Popstar is eligible, it should be in there
for sure. And I know they made a new, I didn't read exactly what it was, but they made a new like Latin music category. It's like Urbana something, right?
Yeah.
Is that for the album or just for like singles? Because we just want Bad Bunny to win. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, I think I don't remember. I think it's Best World Music. I think it's what they called it.
Well, we just want Bad Bunny to win.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a singles category, Dakiti with Jay Cortez and Bad Bunny would definitely be in there. and will win because it was a huge worldwide hit. Let's see what Telepatea by
Yeah,
Kelsey.
Telepatea, Total the T.
Total T by Raul
You know,
Alejandro.
yeah, there's quite a few, but just for how do you fucking say
Yonugi or whatever.
That's the one I cannot pronounce yet. Somebody teach me. The album is so great though from start to finish, and if there's an albums category, Bad Bunny.
Well, I know there is definitely a albums category. I'm pretty sure the album, I don't know how to pronounce it, the one with all the letters.
Yeah.
Like the Y, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The big one from last year. I'm pretty sure that was nominated in one. Or was it Rosalia? Could have been Rosalia.
Rosalia was pretty hardcore last year.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. There is an urban, Latin urban album category.
So Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Bad Bunny will definitely win that this year.
All right. But yeah, we're super excited to see what the actual nominations look like.
Yeah, 100%. And will Lorde be nominated? I think she's gonna miss completely this year. And it breaks my heart, but that album was awful.
Right. I didn't even know the rest of the album was out. So
yeah, it was bad. And I love Lorde, so that breaks my heart. And then for when it comes to best song written for visual media, there's not a single song that I can think of off the top of my head that was part of a soundtrack for this year that's even eligible.
My homegirl wrote a song for Cruella, and I'll always hold out hope for her. But I don't even know the name of it. Like, and I listened to it twice. I bought it to support her, but that's it.
Gotcha.
Florence and the Machine.
Million to One by Camila Cabello as part of Cinderella. Maybe that.
Dude, I couldn't even make it through Cinderella.
It was bad. It was so bad. I was so disappointed. Very 3-second review. Why'd they write it that way? How did they get Camila, Idina Menzel, and Billy Porter in this horrible movie? I have no idea. Why were they singing Rhythm Nation like that? I just don't get it. But
for sure.
But yeah, nominations come out the 2 weeks on the Tuesday the 23rd. I took off work this morning because I know I can't go to work. I won't be able to contain myself. So I assume maybe this year what we should do, instead of watching the live stream separately and then coming on, we should watch it together and do a live reaction. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down.
Because they're doing the live stream thing again, where they go from like the low categories all the way to the big ones. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. If you want to do a reaction, plus it'll get us a lot of views, I hope. So yeah, maybe we'll try to podcast for The Walking Dead here and very soon, because there's so much to talk about.
And nobody cares like you. They all look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, I don't have anyone. Charlie won't even sit in the room with me when I'm watching it. I now have to go back to the room and watch Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and World Beyond, because it drives him crazy how into it I get. And I start screaming at the TV, especially during World Beyond, because those kids like to make really stupid decisions. But yeah, but that's a podcast for another time, because Chelsey and I could just go on for 3 more hours about
for sure
The Walking Dead. So because we haven't talked like at all about the first part of the final season of regular Walking Dead. So we have so much, but we will do that very soon.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, let us know who you think is going to be nominated. Do you think it's going to be an Olivia Rodrigo sweep? Will Lil Nas X, Doja Cat, Taylor Swift, will they do numbers too? Will we see a complete shutout from one of them like we did The Weeknd last year? Will The Weeknd get nominated? There's so much up in the air when it comes to this year. But it's also like one of the least competitive years in a very long time. Sure. So maybe that means we could see kind of more artists that aren't typically nominated, someone like a Demi Lovato in there. But yeah, I don't know. We are praying to the Grammy gods to gramify Demi Lovato. Please.
Yeah, she needs a, what did we call it?
Gramification.
Gramination.
Yes. Hashtag gramification. All right, we should go before we start going off too crazy.
Right, for sure.
Bye, guys.
Till next time.